In this tutorial, I will show you how to color code data in radial charts in Cavalry. Before we start, make sure you watch my previous tutorial on creating radial data charts in Cavalry so you have a background information how this current setup is built. Overall, I ended up putting 9 different ways of how you can affect color based on data in Cavalry. So here's a little bit of context. I'm using a simple CSV spreadsheet to create all these charts. And if you would like to follow along, I'll make sure to include a free project file in the description below. So let's get started. This is your starter comp, which as you can see is set up to just auto animate based on these keyframes. And it has all the assets you need to get started. The most basic way of affecting color based on data in Cavalry is to use a number range. So this node, number range to color. So the way this node works is we've got input for minimum and maximum data and something to drive these values, and this will be remapped to this gradient. If I simply create a keyframe like so, and for example, link the green value to the top, this one to the middle, and then the red one like this. We've got everything, just change the color and to red because we haven't told Cavalry how we want to remap this data. Then the next step is to specify your data values. I'm putting 0 to 100 because our data ranges from, well, 0 to 100 is anywhere in between these two values. And finally, you just need to plug in your data source. In this case, I'm using a CSV spreadsheet, but this could be a value array. As you can see, the whole thing is animated nicely, and every data ring changes the color along this gradient. You can easily modify the colors of the data rings by simply changing the placement of the keyframes on your gradient. Additionally, if you select all your data points, right-click and change them to stepped, then you will limit number of colors across your radial chart to only the colors in this gradient. There won't be any bleeding between colors. You will just have solid colors. In this case, I'm using 3. So this is the most basic way of doing it. And as you can see, everything animates perfectly while maintaining the colors based on the value. So let's look at the progressive color change. It's the same process as before. We are adding number range to color. And rather than adding the data itself, the spreadsheet, to the value, we are going to use the node that does all the animation. In this case, this is value blend node. If I plug it in into the value, and zoom in a little bit, you can see how all the data rings start from this color value, and as they progress, they change the color. Can modify this to crash it even more, for example. There you go. This looks more dynamic, and the rings change the value as they grow, basically in percentage terms. Let's have a look at index to color method. So let's select the ellipse. Now you won't find it in the modifiers tab. You have to look for it using this menu over here. Then let's plug it in back into the color field. Index to color remaps all the shapes inside a duplicator based on this gradient. So as you can see, I simply linked all my color array color properties to the gradient itself. And now I can easily remap all the shapes inside the main duplicator using index to color. So this method is great if you don't know the total values of your data and you just want to change the color based on some specified colors. Or if you would like to just change the color of entire chart based on like a hue, this is fully animated. So let's look at sorted method with color change. So this one is a rather specific. So the way this method works is we have to sort the data based on its value and then change the color based on its value as well. So let's duplicate the spreadsheet and we need to output rather than data a sort order. And the last thing we need to do is instead of using index context, we have to use the sort order and replace connection. And as you can see, things looking a little bit different. And the reason we have these holes is this sort order outputs every single data point that we have available in this spreadsheet, in this case 19. So I have to modify number of copies to 19. And as you can see, everything is sorted by its value. And then finally, we can add a number range to color as before. Okay, we have the number range to color node, and rather than using radial chart, we can use the radial charts data sorted spreadsheet, plug it into the value, and remember this spreadsheet is not outputting data, it's rather outputting the list of indexes sorted by the value. So it's outputting indexes from 0 to 18. And as you can see, everything is changed its color accordingly. And again, it's animated. Personally, I wouldn't use sort order in radial charts in Cavalry because this looks a little bit deceptive, but I would rather use this method on bar charts. But it's good to know how to do it just in case you need it. Now, let's look at gradient along the stroke. So this is very simple. You simply go back to your source shape, go to gradient, and then you just adjust the color keyframes over here. Like this, and you're pretty much done. And as you can see, everything is animated. One thing I need to point out is that this gradient is mapped to the whole stroke itself. So it doesn't matter if the stroke is tiny or really long. As you can see, when it gets really small, you still see the whole gradient. So if you want to map gradient according to the data size, we have to use a slightly different method. In gradient overlay method, we're going to use a single color. It doesn't really matter. We have to add a gradient shader. This gradient shader, as you can see, adds a gradient to the whole shape, and it actually adds the gradient to kind of individual shapes as well. So that's why you can see those differences between how the shapes are looking. Let's pick a sweep gradient. Then, as before, we can simply use our color palette to change the color of this gradient. And we nearly got the whole thing working. You can use screen space to fix this little discrepancy, as you can see. So the colors are more uniformly distributed. This means that this gradient is using the screen space to create the sweep. Now, there is a slight problem. As you can see, the gradient is created, the whole sweep, from where the stroke begins, not where the cap begins, because we are using rounded cap. So flat works without problem. Round is actually projecting extra geometry, which the gradient shader is not taking into account. So to fix that, we simply need to offset the X position, as you can see. And to make this procedural, I would recommend simply linking the stroke size and dropping it into the X. We don't need the whole value of 10, we need about 75% of this value. So a simple expression like this will always ensure that this gradient is offset no matter the stroke size. As you can see, this works perfectly. And I think this is my favorite method because it's beautifully animated. The gradient spans the whole radial chart, and it works no matter how many data points we have. In this setup, I want to highlight a specific data point, for example, the one in the middle. The way you can do this is by using duplicator instead, adding a submesh, and this will let me change things like stroke. But I don't want to overwrite all the work we did before with the whole value blends and using data, because I'll have to relink everything here. Instead, let's use the stroke override. And I'm interested in using color material override. This little tool will let us change the color of whole stroke without modifying the properties like thickness, the cap, and so on. So now we have to limit this override to a specific index. But first, let's just modify the color to the one that is more pleasant, like this, and go back to our stroke. I'm going to rename it as red, so it's easier to tell which one is which. And simply, we can add range falloff. Range falloff has the specific indexes mode, so if I specify the index of 0, this will be the very first one. And easily, we can offset them one by one, like this, to create an animation. Or, for example, if you want to highlight the 5th data point, just type in 5. Now, if you want to highlight a range of indexes from 4 till 10, you just need to type in double dots, and this will do it for you. And this method is great because we can add multiple color material override and simply link the new color like this, in this case green. And then by simply adding another range falloff, we can specify which index we want to override. Just keep in mind that the color material override works by indexes as well. So the one with the highest number will override everything that was overridden before. So in this case, I'm overriding the red color with a green on this index, as you can see. So this is a great way to highlight a specific data point. And again, this is fully animated as before, and you can stack up multiple material overrides or create overrides that span multiple indexes, as I showed you before. In the situation where you have to highlight a specific data value, but you are not sure which index this data is using, then there is a different method. So I'm going to simply add a submesh again, go back to stroke, and again, I'm going to use color material override. Going to call it pass, and I'm going to link a green color to this override, like so. And simply, instead of using a range falloff, I'm going to use the strength to influence which data point in this radial chart is being affected. So we can do this with a simple comparison node. So comparison node compares simply two values using the operation we specify. So if you take your data, plug it into the first field, and then specify, for example, you want to select all the data points which are greater than, let's say, 50. Then as you can see, nothing is happening because this comparison node outputs values between 0 and 1. So you have to add an expression that multiplies it by 100. And as you can see, automatically every single data point above 50 or equal to 50 is highlighted. We can narrow this down even more, like so, until you have only data points that meet this criteria. And this works all the way around, like less than 90. We can be more strict by only limiting data points which have less than 30 in the value. It's going to leave it as greater than 90. And to show you that this works in multiple ways, Let's add another one. Take the color range, again, link it to the color, and perform the same operation as before. Add a comparison node, take the CSV data, link it to the first field, and I want this to be less than, for example, 30. And nothing's happening because we have to add an expression to the strength and multiply it by 100. There you go. And this animates nicely. Now the last setup is very similar to the previous one, where I want to highlight a growing value. So once data passes the point of selection, it changes the color. So instead of building this again and again from scratch, I'm going to remove the fail node, and I want to select data points that are higher than, for example, 17, so quite a few of them, but I want to select them as they animate. So once they reach this number rather than at the beginning. So the way we can do this is simply taking the value blend, which drives the whole animation, and dropping the link into the first field and replacing it. So now, as you can see, once the data reaches a certain point, then it changes its color. So in this case, we can call it that this data passed this specific value, in this case 70. And be more strict, let's say turn this up to something like 90. And this only changes the color once we are past this data point. So rather than using actual data, the CSV, I'm using data that's being modified by this range follow. So this logic means that we're still using the underlying data, but once it's been modified by range follow. This is all I have for you today. Hopefully this will give you more options on selecting different data points, changing the color, or completely changing the design using gradients or indexes to color, and so on. I'll make sure to link this project file in the description below so you can download it for free from Gumroad and have a closer look at every single example I just created. Thanks for watching.